Well, the thing many people have wanted to happen for the DC movie universe has finally happened. Warner Brothers has chosen someone to lead it, a president, a leader, to shape it and chart a direction for the movies going forward. To have their own Kevin Feige, right? The guy who does that for Marvel Studios. Kathleen Kennedy, the lady who does it for Star Wars right now. DC didn't have one, I don't think, in the past. And now they do. Last week, they said that Walter Hamada was going to be the guy in charge of DC movies. And a lot of people were like, well, who's Walter Hamada? Well, he's the guy who spearheaded within Warner Brothers, the building up of the horror universe with the Conjuring, Annabelle, those movies. Those movies, they are relatively inexpensive to make, but they are hugely successful. They make a lot of profit, and they're connected into one universe. And so Warner Brothers looked at that experience, the fact that he has, background building cinematic universe, a successful cinematic universe, and want to apply that apparently to their DC movies because they feel that a roadmap has been lacking and they haven't been that critically or financially successful in the superhero movies. But these horror movies that he's been making, they are very successful. And here we are. He's coming to DC. He was also involved in It. He was one of the producers on that, and It was a smash success last year for a horror movie even. I think it's rare for horror movies to be that financially and critically successful at the same time at the level It was. I think it was just a really, really interesting phenomenon. So that, on top of all the other things that he's been a part of spearheading, made him seem like a natural fit. And he's gotten a hell of a promotion, right? This article I have in front of you here goes to a little bit more detail about how that happened and why they liked Hamada so much. Let's go. I've already given you background about who he is and stuff, but let's talk about what he'll actually be doing. This paragraph here in the middle. Hamada will focus on Warner's slate of upcoming films based on superheroes and villains, as well as titles based on other characters and stories also licensed from DC. He will work closely with Jeff Johns, the president and chief creative officer of DC Entertainment, who worked side by side with Berg. John Berg was the guy who used to co-run the DC movies with Jeff Johns. It was them together. But after Justice League's underperformance, Warner Brothers moved Berg away. Hamada already has a close relationship with Toby Emmerich, Warner's president and chief content officer who previously headed New Line, and insiders say he impressed Emmerich with his overseeing of Shazam, the lone DC Cinematic Universe movie with which the division finds itself involved. The movie, Shazam, is due to begin production this winter. Hamada's move comes at a precipitous moment for the studio's DC initiative. While Wonder Woman resonated with audiences and critics last year in 2017, becoming a cultural phenomenon while grossing $821.8 million worldwide, the movie that was to have been a hero-gathering zenith, Justice League, fizzled. The latter, while grossing $651 million globally, did not leave audiences wanting more. Warner's finds itself at a crossroads as to where it should spend its development energies next, as the coming year will only bring one DC movie to theaters, Aquaman, directed by Conjuring Helmer James Wan, and set to open December 21st. This is all really good news, and I'm excited. I'm excited that Warner Brothers is selecting someone to spearhead their DC movies who has experience building, a carefully constructed and crafted connected universe, which is what the DC movie universe is right now. I know Marvel started that the way it is today, and everyone else is trying to follow the Marvel model. But, DC choosing someone who has that experience and background is great. Because Walter Hamada, I watched a lot of horror movies, and I've seen a lot of these movies he's done in the Conjuring universe. Those movies are all really, really well done and really well directed. And so was It, too. It wasn't part of Conjuring, but he was involved in that. It was also a very well done and written and directed horror movie. And what all those movies have in common is they're very story-based horror movies, which is something a lot of people have found lacking in a lot of the DC movies. They felt that the DC movies, I don't necessarily agree, but I know a lot of the detractors from DC, the people who don't like the DC movies, they feel they haven't really been that character-based, and they haven't had very strong, plots or scripts or whatever. But the movies that Walter Hamada's been involved in have, and they've also been very well directed. I mean, what this says to me is that DC and Warner Brothers, they're recruiting the right people to build a franchise carefully, the way it needs to be built, And they're keeping Jeff Johns involved, which is great because Jeff Johns is a comic book guy who knows and understands these characters and can help, guide them in treating certain characters, at least for them to be appropriate to the way they're supposed to be portrayed and the way audiences are going to want them to be. So it's a good, I think, relationship. And Jeff Johns was involved in Wonder Woman, which was hugely successful, right? I know he was also involved in other movies that didn't go so well, like Green Lantern and Justice League. Although, I don't mind because I like Justice League, so I'm fine with that. I have no problem. For me, him being involved in Justice League, that's not a knock against him in my opinion. I'm happy he's still around. Green Lantern, whatever. We already may be starting to see Walter Hamada starting to adjust and clean up some things, because there was an article that dropped a little while ago saying that the Deathstroke and Lobo movies DC had planned, those might not be happening. I don't think that's been confirmed, but, articles have been saying we're not going to get those movies anymore. And I'm okay with that. Not that I don't like Deathstroke or Lobo, but it's just, previously DC in the movies seemed to have this approach where, like, you get a movie and you get a movie, and they were just throwing movies out and, announcing movies and promising people you'll star in a movie. But I don't think they were planning on where it would fit within a timeline or anything. And so I think that they need to be like backburnering things or just completely shuttering them for now and concentrating on a core path. And I think that's good if that's what's happening. I know there was also another rumor or reports that there were supposed to be 3 or 4 movies in development with Harley Quinn in them. Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, a Joker and Harley movie, a Harley movie just by herself, Gotham City Sirens, and Suicide Squad 2. And I just think that although I like Margot Robbie and Harley Quinn, to me that just seems like people just like a bunch of different executives planning to do all these different movies and aren't talking to each other and stuff like that. So I think that if Walter Hamada can start smoothing out and, course correcting and, streamlining stuff, that'll be great. And it'll be great for DC because when people hear all this stuff that DC's making a million movies and just going to make one because they want to make one, it harms the DC movie brand because it makes it look to people like they don't know what they're doing. Like when we had that article before that, Martin Scorsese was going to do a Joker movie with Leonardo DiCaprio as Joker, going on maybe in an alternate universe or whatever, but still going to be in theaters, and we have Jared Leto playing Joker right now in the main DC universe. Like, somebody needs to cut all that out. And I think that if Walter Hamada is going to fix all that and say, we don't need to have alternate universe versions of these characters going at the same time as regular ones, great. Have one person in charge and have that person decide we're making this movie and this is going to be our long-term plan. And that's exactly what I think they're doing. Now, I don't know that they're not still going to make those 50 million Harley Quinn movies, or they aren't going to do that Elseworlds like Joker movie or Superman Red Sun. But I kind of hope they aren't, because they need to focus on their core universe before they do all this other stuff. That's just me, and that's what I hope Walter Hamada is doing. I think that's what he's been hired for, and I'm excited. But I'm always excited about DC, aren't I? So that's not exactly news. But anyways, thank you for watching. If you please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to watch me make more videos about DC movies and TV shows and comic books. I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.